Hey, everybody, welcome to the podcast. This is Sean Davis on the Sean Davis Show. We hope that the sound is better today. New microphone, new camera, and Spotify had some noise problems. The podcast, the audio version, had some noise problems last time. We hope that we have gotten that taken care of with the new microphone, new camera, a new trying to get a new setup going here today. Crazy days and insane nights. Look at the world in which we live in. It is like crazy out there. I don't know if I can do this or not. I'm trying to do something new. Um, Going back and forth to Drudge Report from my laptop here. Normally I use another device, but I can't get it to work today. It's not working for whatever reason. But I mean, you just can't believe this. On the front of the Drudge Report this morning, Putin braces for Crimea invasion, Ukraine counteroffensive, and of course they got uh, a picture of President Zelensky there, the famous actor, the guy who Ted Nugent says is President Homo. You know, if he is, I don't know. But if you haven't seen the video of this dude dancing in high heels, oh my God, it is the weirdest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. Go to YouTube and look that up. If I can, I will post that in the comments. I'll post a link to it in the comments if I can remember it. If not, somebody comment below and remind me to put a link to that video. It is insane. And this is the guy we're sending billions of dollars to. We're just printing money like crazy and sending and sending money to a guy uh, who's out there dancing around in high heels. All right, with his rock band or whatever it is. Uh, I don't know, just crazy. But if you've not seen the news, leaked documents reveal depth of the U.S. spy efforts and Russia's military struggles. State secrets spread on socials. Blah blah blah. Apparently, somebody from the Pentagon leaked Ukraine's spring offensive. You know, all this stuff is. Who knows this ain't fake news? Okay, who knows that this isn't some kind of crap just to get Putin set up in the wrong place, like they did back in World War II. They made all those balloons. If you don't remember what I'm talking about, they made a bunch of balloons and with tanks and everything, and it was a fake army invasion. They was setting up like they were invading, in one spot, and they had like all these fake balloon tanks and armament and planes. I don't know what all. I don't think they had planes or not, but I just remember they made a bunch of a balloon army out there, and they made the Germans think they were coming this way. You know, all intelligence said they were coming this way, and what they did, they hit from a different direction. So I believe it was France or Germany or somewhere like that. There was I can't remember where it was at. Maybe it was across the English Channel or something. I don't know. But anyway, they faked a stage invasion. They faked it. Cup of coffee there. But you just won't believe the news that's out there. Let's look. This is the kind of news that we're being fed today. Futurist claims humans will soon attend own funerals and new body. Oh man, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that. I was discussing with my girlfriend the other night how I was trying to plan my funeral now. And of course, her baby girl thought it was pretty morbid of me to be planning that. So, it is what it is. But you know, get your affairs in order, folks, because the way the world's going, it could be World War III tomorrow. Who knows? I mean, fed up with mayhem, Miami wants to tame spring break for good. Now, that's going to be a huge damper in their tourist industry. Imagine the money that is spent down there for spring break. Not just the families and everything else to go, but the parties, all these college students, high school students going down there to party like Sodom and Gomorrah for, weeks on end during spring. I don't see them taming it down. Uh, I just don't see it happening. They would cut their revenue way too much. Where are they going to go? California? Who can afford to go party in California? Surely not a bunch of broke college students can't go to California and party. Six shot on beach in South Carolina as holiday weekend begins. Okay, that's terrible. Stabbing of cash Stabbing of Cash App creator raises alarm and claims of lawless San Francisco crap hole. Oh wow. His screams caught on 911. Passenger handcuff over pre-flight drink tantrum like 5-year-old. So I haven't read that. That sounds interesting. Georgia looms over next Trump indictment. Restless search for another Roy Khan. Russia arms dealer claims Don's life is in danger. Must be Donald Trump. Update campaign moves not to hire Loomer. For DeSantis, overflowing war chest obscures the challenges ahead. Ron DeSantis, he needs to team up with Trump and run. Him or that one chick, what's her name? I can't think of her name. But anyway, they need DeSantis, and this a lot of people probably have the same opinion. And I am not political. I think it's all a dog and pony show. I think it's a circus. I think it's staged. I don't think there is an election anymore. I think they want people to go out and vote, and they say, "Hey, here's this guy or this guy." It's classic sales. If you're in the sales industry, you go out, you never go with one option, say, hey, Mr. Customer, do you want to buy this? You go out with 2 or 3 options and you say, hey, Mr. Customer, do you want this one? Or do you want this one? Or do you want this one? You want A, B, or C? And you never approach a client with one option, but all those options are the ones that you have. You never ask him yes or no, do you want to buy? You say, do you want this one or do you want this one? So, in every election that I have been old enough to realize what was going on, uh, you have skull and bones or some kind of banking in or mafia insider or some kind of criminal organization insider or some kind of political insider. And it's like, okay, do you want this one or this one? Which one do you want? But they're both the same thing. We get the same policies. We get the same things happening. Everybody's mad right now at Biden over the taxes and everything else. The only thing he did was let the Trump tax plan expire sooner than what it would have anyway. Or he did not postpone it. He could have postponed it or whatever. But anyway, the Trump tax plan, what is heralded as a Trump tax plan, was going to like be crazy. I mean, it gave us a break for a little while and put some money in the American people's pockets for a little while. But after that, it was going to be like crazy hard on them, hard on us Americans. So, but it's not really Trump's tax plan. And you won't really find this anywhere that I have been able to find online, but you can find it in the book Cokeland. And I can't remember who wrote it, but it's the story of David and Charles Koch, mainly Charles Koch and Koch Industries. And in this book, it talks about the Trump tax plan and how it's not really the Trump tax plan, but it was wrote and put together by Koch industry lobbyists. Now, these lobbyists, now, if you don't know who Charles Koch is, I mean, he's a brilliant guy, but he heralds himself as a libertarian, and he's very influential in the Republican Party. This dude is an anarchist, at its core. He doesn't Everything he does is brought about to dismantle government. And his whole basis for lobbying is to bankrupt America. Because once he bankrupt America, his corporation can do whatever it wants. Okay? Uh, and I'm, it's a private held company, so it's hard. It doesn't have a whole lot of oversights other than just the regular governmental oversights. This guy is brilliant. I mean, I would love to have the money and the business acumen that this guy has. I admire that greatly. I mean, it is just phenomenal. Market based management, all this stuff that this guy's brought about. Uh, growth for growth's sake. You don't get as big as you can get, as fast as you can get, so that you create as much revenue as possible. I mean, he's a phenomenal businessman. I mean, he's just phenomenal and great, and I like him for that aspect. But I am not, as a libertarian, I am not a complete anarchist. I'm not. I just don't. Here's the thing: without government, there's no one there to ensure individual liberty. If there's no government there to protect the people, uh, mob rule wins. Whoever has the most money, the most guns, the most power, they rule, and they take away from everyone that's weaker. You have no individual liberties and rights without government. So, do I like everything about our government? No, I do not. Am I a fan of the way our political system seems to be hijacked? No, I am not. Um, but a republic, and we are a republic, not a democracy. We are not a democracy because democracy is mob rule, and we were set up to be a republic. So, you know, a republic form of government protects the individual freedoms and liberties of the individual citizens better than any other. Is it a perfect system? No. But, it is what it is. It's what we got. So we need to work with it. But anyway, the Trump tax plan is not really the Trump tax plan. It was wrote by a Koch lobbyist. So if we had gotten the Trump tax plan, the one that Trump wanted, oh, we would be way better off today than what we got. And it is a disgrace to even call it the Trump tax plan because very, very little of it was anything that President Trump got that he wanted in that tax plan. Am I a huge fan of President Trump? I've read all of his books. I've bought his books. I've liked the guy way before he's president. Uh, I don't know if he is an actor or not. I mean, I don't know. At this point, I think almost all of them are actors and they're set there to divide and conquer the American people. And I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong about that. But to me, it's a dog and pony show. For DeSantis, overflowing war chest obscures the challenges ahead. DeSantis and Trump need to team up. If they are legit and they are real politicians or real people trying to make the country better, and I know DeSantis is America's governor right now. That's too close to Mayor Giuliani, America's mayor or whatever. But think about this: if DeSantis and Trump teamed up, we got 4 more years of Trump and then 8 years of DeSantis. We could turn this country around. And I'm not a fan of. I was raised Democrat. I'm not a fan of Democrats or Republicans as far as I'm registered Republican because I just can't register. I can't be associated with the Democratic Party with their Marxist, communist, socialist agenda. They point their fingers at Republicans, say, "Oh, you're a bunch of Nazis." And there's Bush family ties to the Nazis. Yes, there is. There's Bush family ties. There is also Democrat Ford. I think the Fords are Democrats. I think there's ties there to the Nazis as well. The thing is, there's good and bad in both parties, but with the stance of the Democrats, it cannot. The party left me. I didn't leave the party, as they say. And here we have poor old Clarence Thomas in defending gifts from billionaire Clarence Thomas raises more questions. This stuff has went on since the beginning of time. This has went on since the beginning of time. It's not going to stop. Uh, it's just one of those things. This is just this stuff happens with every single one of them. Happens with all of them. So I don't know why it's such a. I don't know why they're making a story out of it. All these stories, and we'll get into that here in a minute. But dueling judges battle over abortion pill developing. 7 questions. I've not even read any of that. Abortion is just to me, it's a heinous thing because I don't think there should be any laws here in America that says, okay, I think you should have a right to protect yourself, defend your family, defend your property. And if someone comes against you to do bodily harm or rob you or hurt your family or rape your family or do something wrong to your kids, rape your kids, molest your kids, whatever, somebody comes against you to attack your family or your property, steal from you, wrong you, I think you should have the right to use deadly force against those people. And I think the more times that deadly force is used against people like that, the less it will happen. And that's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's wrong, but that's just my personal opinion. So when you make a law that says I can take someone else's life without them having any say so or any representation whatsoever, to me that's just heinous and wrong. A child has no voice whatsoever. So to take its life, to me, I mean, not to mention the Christian and moral and ethical value concerns with abortion and around abortion. The fact that that child has no representation and no one to defend it is what makes it even more heinous to me. That we can take an innocent life, that hasn't done anything wrong, hasn't done anything wrong, you know. Yeah, and everybody's like, oh well, grow up in orphanages. Well, we need to do a better job of that. We need to create uh, a better child care system here in this country. Uh, you know, to help the people that don't want to raise those babies, to ensure a good future for them, and that they're taken care of and provided for. Yeah, we got 100,000 social programs. I don't know how many. We got all kinds of social programs out there. Why can't we do something for the kids? We could send billions of dollars to this dancing president over there, this dancing monkey, and to waste a bunch of money and fight a war that they started in 2014 or somebody started in 2014, and you know, but we can't do nothing for our people here at home, and it's crazy to me. Tennessee becomes new front in battle for America's democracy. Everybody's seen this, where they're saying it's racism, whatever. I don't know what it is. It's more distraction and division and more trying to take away our rights and guns and everything else. Politics has become amplified rage. That's true. That I don't know what this is about, but that is true. Balls, dizzying, divisive, weak, spotlights, turmoil. Free speech Twitter restricts mentioning Substack. Somebody ditches the platform. I don't even know what the guy's name is. JP Morgan Diamond says storm clouds ahead. Now, that is something that we need to see. That is something we need to think about. Jamie Dimon is sounding the whistle here. Uh, Robert Kiyosaki sounded the whistle back in January that the market was going to crash. And by George, it did crash. It didn't crash by the time he said, but it had started down and it is crashing out. Let's see here. Bank lending crashed in March. Well, your interest rates are so high, no one can afford it. So it's going to come down. Singer sees future dangerous and confusing. 1689 for Big Mac combo in Connecticut. Oh my gosh, let's hope it's real meat. Hope it ain't some kind of Beyond Meat burger or fake burger or cricket burger or whatever else crap you're trying to feed us nowadays. Google CEO on AI, search and battling Microsoft. Well, can we no longer believe anything we see? I don't know how we could this day and time. 27 stars who were strippers before the fame. Who cares? Who cares? Chinese military rehearses encirclement of Taiwan. Now that's something we know is coming. They're gonna do something with this Taiwan thing. It's crazy. This crazy Taiwan thing. It's Erdogan. Muslim world must unite against Jewish state. So here's the guy who thinks he's God. He thinks he's, I don't know, he thinks he's the Messiah. He thinks he's the return of the prophet or whatever. I don't know. He thinks he's God. Erdogan, who, by the way, was the first person that Obama called when he was elected president. Weird, huh? Muslim world must unite against Jewish state. Violence scars holy days in Israel. Fear of escalation. Attack in Tel Aviv. IDF calls up reservist. USA deploys guided missile sub amid tensions with Iran. Tehran installing cameras in public places to identify, personalize unveiled women. Here we are going after them, and they're going after their women. I mean, oh my God. I mean, this is just, it's crazy. Johnny Depp's new film director accused of assault. Russia officially charges Wall Street Journal reporter with spying. Can editor Emma Tucker save? 2 men shot and killed near Acapulco resort. Another one, American kidnapped in Mexico. FBI offering reward for info. Nothing. It's probably maybe a few days old, but absolutely nothing that should still be on there about the BRICS nations, about how, they're getting Saudis have come on board with this stuff of selling oil in something other than the United States dollars. Most of you know about the history lesson, from World War II, when they met on that aircraft carrier or whatever, and the Saudis agreed to start selling all oil in United States dollars. This is what catapulted the United States to, was it World War II? Was it Vietnam, Korea, World War One? I don't know. Somewhere in the past, they agreed to start selling oil in American dollars, and that is what catapulted the United States to become a world superpower. That is what funded the machine. That's what fueled the machine. So when this happens, this is devastating to the United States economy. And let's think about this. We don't make anything here. We make very little here. Most everything comes from China, someone that we're possibly going to go to war with. All this stuff is made somewhere else. South America, the Asian nations, Taiwan, all of our chips and stuff like that. All this stuff is made overseas. So what are we going to do when we go to war with these people? If we go to war with these people, and how can the United States sit back and not do or say anything when Russia, Saudi Arabia, and all these other countries are buying and selling oil without the U.S. dollar? No one even wants the U.S. dollar anymore, but there's nothing on. There's nothing on it. We're not talking about it anywhere. Just a headline here or there. They're coming up with this crypto, this U.S. coin that they're offering 2% interest on. If you buy the U.S. coin. I did have some, by the way. I switched everything over to Bitcoin. Back to the market. I'm out of the market right now. Sitting out. Probably take some swing trades here and there. Probably nothing very big. Just make a few dollars here and there when I can. Right now is a good Ted Warren type time to invest. And if you're super duper rich and can afford to put part of your money at risk, it might be a good time to do a little Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger style, investing. Buy some of these big name companies that may not be going anywhere that pays a pretty good dividend and just ride it out. But that's not financial advice. That's just speculation. And I'm not. If you invest in the stock market, you can and may and probably will lose all your money. So it's not financial advice, but just looking at the state of the market, where do you put your money right now? Your banks ain't paying nothing. The dollar's depreciating so doggone fast. I mean, heck, who can even save any money by the time you go buy groceries and gas? I can't remember now what it was, but I just had to put some Supreme and my son's truck. It's an older model truck that doesn't run good on regular gas, so I had to put Supreme in. It's over $4 a gallon here in Kentucky. $4 a gallon. I mean, this is insane. It's insane. It's only going to get worse. Uh, it's just it's some crazy times, and nobody's talking about it. But everybody wants to you know see what's news reports on Clarence Thomas taking whatever uh, taking some luxury cruises on a rich guy's boat. How many times has this happened? How many rich Chinese businessmen have been on Mitch McConnell's boat? How many times? No one wants to talk about the coke that was found on there. They was shipping coke probably, or a big party. He had some coke on there, not him, but his in-laws. You know, I mean, this kind of stuff goes on all the time. It goes on all the time. It goes on a local level. It goes on the highest levels there is. It goes on the world level. These things go on, and you know, anytime you associate with someone in your political office like that, or any kind of office, judge, whatever, you're going to get hit with these things. That's just the way it is. It's just part of it, and it is what it is. It is what it is. But there's the funniest story this week is what's come out this Budweiser beer. This woke stuff is going to destroy America. You know, if we do go to war, we're in so much trouble. I mean, so much trouble. We're trying to sissify everybody. We're trying to make the women men. We're trying to make the men women. We're trying to sissify everybody. And I don't understand that. It's insane. If you look at the recruiting videos for Russia and China, I mean, these guys are like men. Look this up on YouTube. Look up the Russian, uh, whatever it is, where they're trying to get people to join the military. I can't think of the words right now. But you have these guys out there, and they're doing like manly things, and they're tough guys. They're manly men. They're doing things. They're training. They're running. They're doing all this kind of stuff. And then you see the United States training a recruitment video where they are like, they're looking, they're pandering to this female and ABC movement. You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to get banned off YouTube, but you know what I'm talking about. They're pandering to this movement. What are these people going to do if we do get in the war with some of these other countries? The greatest generation were men. World War One. Those guys that went and fought, they were men. I mean, they were men. They charged headfirst into certain death. Are these people? Is the generation today ready for something like that? Are they mentally capable of charging headfirst into certain death? That is a very very sobering thought. All three of my sons have served in the military. I did not get to serve in the military. I did not. I wanted to. I was signed up to go. Had a tractor accident. Did not get to go. Uh, Crushed my pelvic bone. Had learned to walk all over again. All that kind of stuff. Years later, after 9/11, they loosened the restrictions. I thought about going, but I had small children, so I didn't go. Had custody of my twins uh, later on, so I didn't go. Uh, you know, the way I wished I had of, I wished I had went when I was able to actually go again before my age got to the point where I couldn't. But I have one's in basic right now, the other one's fixing to go to basic, and one's already out. So, and I have two stepsons, one that's in there right now, and one about to go also. And former stepsons, they're not stepsons now, but uh, you know, these guys are tough. These guys are men. They've been raised to be men, you know, and they've went to be the best that the country has to offer. The best of the best. But if we go to war, and war is like that one general said, one war is hell and a racket or whatever. But you need people that's willing to lay their lives down and run in to accomplish a task at certain death. And can some of these people do that? Can they put their own interest aside and sacrifice themselves for the what's possibly the greater good? Can they do that? I don't know. I don't know, but it's something to think about. It's crazy. One of my uncles talked a few years ago about this dollar collapse and this oil thing to a general. And I'm not going to say which uncle it was. He was not in the military, but in his profession, he comes in contact with people from various walks and avenues of life. He was talking to this general, and this general said, he asked him this question. He said, the dollar is based on oil, or is backed by oil, and the U.S. military. What happens if the world stops buying oil in U.S. dollars? That general got real sober for a minute, and I think he might have been a retired general or anything else. And he was just posed this question. It doesn't mean that this is what it was, but this is his thoughts on it. And he said he got really sober and really quiet for a second. And then he looked at him and said, "Well," he said, "if that ever happens, we go to war." And he was very solemn about his response to my uncle's question. And that was his thoughts on it. That was his particular thoughts. That doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. But if you think about it, what other choice do we have? Our dollar's collapsing. Uh, they've been getting a lot of these countries have been getting rid of U.S. treasuries for some time. You know, our whole economy could fail, and we could go to what could be the next Great Depression, probably the greatest depression, and certainly worse than anything we've ever seen in our lifetimes. And what choice do we have if this stuff takes place but go to war? George Gammon said something a while back too that was pretty interesting. He was discussing how ebb and flow of time, uh, like when one superpower starts to decline, the rising superpower comes up to face it, and it always happens. It happened. And he goes back hundreds of years discussing it, even back beyond Britain and the United States. Like when Britain was coming to the end of their empire, how inevitable that the United States and then would bump heads because the United States was up and coming, and we weren't no way a world power yet. We were still isolationist. But when we come up, we fought the Revolutionary War. Then we also fought the War of 1812 with them. So, you know, as one power declines, there's always a point when another power rises and they clash. And we may see that with China and United States. United States empire is collapsing. The Chinese are coming on board. They're coming on board to be a world superpower. Uh, so, yeah, it's a possibility. It's a possibility that could happen. Uh, what's your thoughts on it? But it's crazy. Crazy times in which we live, crazy days, crazy nights. This beer thing is crazy. It's crazy. My phone has blown up with the memes from this thing. I mean, you would not believe the stuff. The new Clydesdale, horses. Oh my God. Some of these memes, I can't show them on here. Absolutely insane stuff I can even share on Facebook that my phone is blown up with. Hilarious. Hilarious stuff. Dad, I was riding down the road yesterday with my dad. He was saying how that the owner, the Anheuser company or whatever, had went in and fired the entire marketing department. He was touting this as true, and I was like, yeah, they need to. They need to go in there and fire all those people. This woke stuff hasn't worked for anybody. All it's done is cost them a bunch of money. Blah blah blah. But I mean, it doesn't do away with the company. The company always comes back from it. These people have so much money at this point that they really don't care. They can keep running and not worry about it. But nevertheless, I don't drink beer. Don't drink alcohol. Stay away from it. But you know, if this guy had really went in there and fired his entire marketing department over this stupid nonsense with this beer thing, I would have went out and bought a case of beer. I'd poured it out probably, but I'd went out and bought a case of beer just because he stood up to this nonsense. But it turned out to be a fake story. We looked it up. And, yeah, it was a fake. It's fake news. Everybody's putting out this fake news. You can't even tell what's real nowadays. That's why it's insane. Everything's insane. You don't know what's true, what's not true. You don't know what to believe. You don't know what to think. Half those articles on there is probably filler stories. That's just fake news, just stuff people's created. It's insane. It's much more fun to talk about paranormal and crazy stuff happening than it is to talk about politics or anything else or even the stock market anymore. It's insane. Things are insane. And you know, I don't see it getting any better anytime soon. But hey, up and coming, we've got two podcasts, two shows we want to do here very soon. A buddy of mine's coming on shortly as soon as he can get some free time to talk about Waverly Hills in Louisville. If you've ever been to Waverly Hills in Louisville, Kentucky, and spent the night or have any experience with that, comment below. I'd like to get your story on the show. I'd like to talk to you. And I don't know if you know anything about Waverly Hills, but it was a mental asylum or some kind of asylum. I don't know. It's supposedly one of the most haunted places around. Uh, I don't know if it is or not, but if it is, I'd like to hear some stories from there. I've never been there. To be honest with you, I don't go to places that's supposed to be haunted uh, because when I was much much younger, we went out and we done a little ghost hunting. We thought it was cool. I'd seen some things that kind of you know sparked my interest. Maybe want to go look for things and see if there was something to it, if it was all just in my head or imagination. And we got out ghost hunting a time or two, and we went someplace one night, and we were there till late, and I don't know what happened, but some really weird stuff happened, and then uh, something followed me home, and I don't really know what it was, but it was pretty weird. And I pulled into my driveway. I was living on my parents' farm then in a trailer. Just got divorced from my first wife, and I pulled in there in my pickup, and I was sitting there, and I just I don't know what I was doing, but I just pulled in my driveway, and I was fixing to go inside, and I don't know. I was just sitting there in my truck for a second. I turned it off, and I don't know if I was listening to something on the radio or what, but I felt something jump in the bed of my pickup. I know it sounds crazy. It sounds insane, but something jumped in the bed of my pickup truck or stepped up in the bed of my pickup truck, and my truck went whoomp, 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 like something was walking towards the cab. Well, I tripped out, man. I'm like, I flicked on my light in the dome light in the bed of the truck, and looked, and there was absolutely nothing there, nothing whatsoever there. And I fired up the truck stick. I throwed it in first, and well, of course I was probably already in first because I was parked. Uh, but I dumped the clutch and I spun the truck around in my yard and driveway like I done donuts in my yard and my driveway, and I left. And I went to Walmart. That was back when Walmart used to stay open 24 hours a day. Uh, I went back to Walmart, and this was probably 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. We got in from being out there at that place, and I stayed in Walmart till daylight. I would not. I did not go back to my house uh, till daylight. And I don't know what it was. Really, really weird. But you know, there wasn't a dog. It wasn't nothing in the back of my truck. There was nothing I could see in there. So after that experience, I never went ghost hunting anymore, and I never went looking for that sort of thing ever again. And that is why I never went back looking for it ever again. So I don't go to places like Waverly Hills, but it is very interesting, and I would like to do a show on it. It's one of Kentucky's famous haunted spots, and I'd like to hear about people's experiences there. Of course, because I will not go there. Won't do it. Won't do it. But that and another show we're going to do soon is lake monsters. I don't know if anyone has had any kind of unusual encounters around Lake Cumberland or not. I know there has been some stories. Uh, there's been some Bigfoot sightings and or possible Bigfoot sightings around Lake Cumberland. People tied up on houseboats that claim they were rocked from bluffs. I know a couple of guys that were trying to camp. Were trying to camp out at the lake on the bank, and uh, they started getting rocks thrown at them. Started out little pebbles, then it started getting bigger rocks. About next thing you know, they're about the size of your fist. Then the next thing you know, they're rocks being hurled at them about the size of their heads, to the point where they left their camp and sped away. They never did see what was hurling those rocks at them. They could hear it. I think it was making some kind of weird sound. They don't know if it was somebody. They don't know if it was Bigfoot or whatever. But I tell you what, I've thrown some rocks, and to hurl a rock the size of your head, 15, 10, 15 pound rock, or 8 or 9 pound rock the size of a man's head, over a great distance, you have to be pretty stinking stout to do that. So I don't really know what it was, but if you have any experiences with any kind of weird things happening around Lake Cumberland or any other lake, reach out to us. We'd like to hear your story. Like to share your story. It's a whole lot more fun than what's going on in the news now. I mean, oh my God, beer, beer. Oops, I bet that sounded good on the podcast. Dropping the phone like that. But anyway, who uh, who can believe the crazy times we live in? You know, uh, I really, it's just beyond me. Beyond me. It's if you'd asked me back in the '80s if we would ever see times like these, that everything's just insane and crazy, I would have never believed it. I would have never believed it. I really wish somebody would build a time machine so we could go back to the '70s and '80s because, I mean, the world we have created nowadays, it's just, it's satire. It's satire. It's insane. It's crazy. But anyway, so if you have a story about the lake that you'd like to share, or if you've been to Waverly Hills, uh, reach out to us. We'd like to hear your story. Like to hear your story. I'll tell you, I have seen two things around Lake Cumberland. Two things with my own eyes that blew my ever loving mind, and uh, I'll be sharing them some other time. But I don't know what it was. It could have been a fish. One could have been a fish, big huge catfish or something, because they claim that there's catfish in Lake Cumberland the sides of Volkswagens. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard that they just lay around the bottoms of the lake. So one thing I seen could have been that. I don't know about the other. The other thing was weird. Uh, it was very strange. I really don't know what that was, but I'll get into both stories on a later date. But if you've seen something, reach out to me. I'd like to know. Well, that's it for today's show. Hope you all enjoy. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Uh, Appreciate it. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on YouTube. Reach out to us. You reach us here or on Facebook or Instagram at the Sean Davis Show. My personal email, is in the thumbnail. Reach out to me. I'd like to hear your stories. If anything on Bigfoot, I won't do a Bigfoot story here for too long. I do have a possible Bigfoot story. I'm not really sure what it was. Uh, I also have a possible Dogman story. And I was just joking about it being Dogman at a bonfire one night. And then some weird stuff happened right after that. And during that, that kind of made me say, oh crap, it might be Dogman. And if you don't know, Kentucky has, and Tennessee has a lot of dog man sightings, probably more dog man sightings than they are Bigfoot sightings. Supposed, allegedly, allegedly. Uh, okay, we got a couple minutes here. I want to get into the dog man story. Okay, we were at a cookout and bonfire. We're having a great time. Everything's cool. And then we start hearing this wolf howl. All right, this wolf starts howling. Well, the owner of the place, he's like, "Oh, that's crazy." So and so, one of the neighbors, he's trying to play a prank on us. He's blasting this over some kind of speaker or something. Well, they had a little house dog. Little house dog comes up and he's just like staying right with us, won't leave. You know, right there next to the fire. Well, this thing is up in the woods close to us, howling. I'm like, that's not um, someone running through the woods playing this over a loudspeaker or radio. That's, at first I was laughing and joking, oh my God, it's Dog Man, because, just aggravating everybody, trying to get everybody's goat a little bit. Stuff like that really upset my ex wife. She, anything to do with reputation or image, she was all about it, You couldn't have anything unexplained or anything fun or interesting because oh my God, it's someone might think you're crazy, might ruin your reputation. Who cares? We're all gonna be dead one of these days anyway. What's it matter? You know, dirt we come, to dirt we go. Big deal. Anyway, this thing is coming up through the. We can hear it up there in the woods howling, and like a wolf. And it is just weird. It's making all kinds of noise up there. Well, everybody's just kind of ignoring it, sitting around the bonfire, roasting some marshmallows, cooking some hot dogs. Everybody's laughing, talking. Somebody's playing some music. Everybody's just having a good time. No drinking or anything like that. Just good church going people sitting out there having a good time. And I start teasing everybody. Oh, it's a dog man. And she's like, oh no, it's not. There's no such thing as dog man. What is that? And blah blah blah. No, that's my crazy neighbor. He's just acting up. He's just doing this. Well, as we're sitting there, I'm sitting there listening to him, and I said, well, if it's dog man, he's probably going to start pushing down trees or something here in a little bit. And it wasn't very long after that a big, huge tree got pushed over up there, and we heard it crash. And that thing just kept a howling, kept a howling. Excuse me, but you know, no one paid any attention to it. And this thing just keeps getting closer and closer. And I mean, this thing was within 100, 200 yards of us. 100, 200 yards of us. When you go back around the side of the house, you can see the tree that has been pushed over on this hillside. It was visible from the house, the back porch of the house. This tree that was pushed over out of the ground, pushed over. The tree might have been. I can't say that the tree was dead or not because the leaves were gone and it was dark. I do not know. But this was a tree that was standing. It was not cut. It was not broken. This thing was probably 7, 8 inches around diameter. If you're on YouTube, you can probably see this. About that big around. This thing was pushed over, and we heard it crash out of the ground. What's it take, a stinking bulldozer to do something like that? A big, huge tractor to push a tree over like that? No wind blowing, so it wasn't. Was it, root rot? What was it? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, this thing's up there, and a tree gets pushed over, fell over. Coincidental? I don't know, but the tree is on the ground. Dog staying right with us. Dog won't go nowhere. This thing just keeps howling, carrying on. She's on the phone with her neighbor. Are you doing this? And she never said that this guy admitted that he was doing it. She was certain that this guy was up there just trying to have a good time and goad us a little bit. Running through the woods, howling, everything else. And I don't remember if she said anything about him or what she said. But anyway, she was certain it was the neighbor. I don't think it was the neighbor. I don't know what it was. She may even said that the neighbor said it wasn't him or claimed it wasn't him or whatever, but she really thought it was. Whatever this thing was howling. All for 20, 30 minutes, howling like a wolf. And very, very eerie, very, very strange. Finally, everybody's like, that's it. Let's go home. Not long after the tree fell, everybody's like, maybe we should go, And of course, no one acted like they thought it was anything. Everybody was just sitting there, And of course, except for me, and I was really egging it on. Oh man, we're all gonna get eaten. It's dog man, crap like that. Just having a good time. And anyway, a few days later, this lady's dog is found mutilated out in the driveway. Absolutely just ripped to shreds by something, and they don't know what it was. And if I'm not mistaken, something got some of their animals too, like their goats or something that they had. Something got something. Something died. Something disappeared. But anyway, folks, that's it. Reach out to us, like, subscribe. Please share the podcast. If you have a story, reach out to us. And that is today's show. Y'all have a great weekend. Happy Easter. God bless.